energy and ready to have more healings and revealings in your life? Then you've tuned into the right program. For the next hour, listen in as Reverend Temple Hayes, spiritual leader of First Unity at Unity Campus in St. Petersburg, Florida, shares with you tools you can use to transform your life. She will guide you on a journey to create a life that is intentional and dynamic. Now, here's your host, Reverend Temple Hayes.
And welcome everyone. How are you doing? And here's back by popular demand, the one and only Sharon Brown. We're so glad that we have her with us today. All of you said you wanted her. You said you wanted to further the conversation about healthy living and well-being. Yeah. I'd just like to take a minute and kind of put a frame around what it means to be an intentional spirit. And I see some intentional spirits joining us today. I see Mary Jo, that she is an intentional spirit. I see Kim Summers. Oh yeah. So anyway, we know and we say to ourselves, and I remind myself often, there's a difference between having good intentions and being an intentional spirit. And you might wonder, what is the difference? So the difference to me, at least in how I frame it in my own mind, is many times in my life I've had good intentions. But then something would come along, a distraction or an unexpected challenge. Or maybe physically I didn't feel up to par. And I would not continue to move forward with whatever that was, whether it was a new resolution or whether it was a plan to do something with discipline or a detox or whatever. I'd go, what's the point?
Right.
Or let me wait to some other time. And we all love the some other time that never comes. Mm-hmm. Right? So anyway, being intentional is this conversation of whatever decisions you make today, you just continue to show up. And you don't let externals guide your reality. You guide your reality by your internal guidance. I think that's one of the easiest. So anyway, that's enough of that. We now have this gal with us. Look at her, vibrant light that she is. I'm like, oh, should I put on my sunglasses?
Yes, put them on.
I'm like, girl, you are beaming today.
Oh, thank you.
But talk to us and give, because we have new people joining us as well. So give them a sense of how a nice girl like you got to be in a place like this. Why are you dedicated to what you're doing? What are you doing? And what does that look like? So share with look at them.
I will answer that, but I wanted to add to your piece on intentional spirit, if I could, for a minute. Yeah,
girl. We're live, so anything goes.
All right. I've been having some experiences recently that have showed up as a recurring pattern in my life. Mm-hmm. And this past week I've been journaling, reflecting, writing, doing everything, just asking myself, what am I supposed to be learning? Because I don't want to see this thing in my life again.
Right.
And so I had my, I don't know if epiphanal is a word, but I had an epiphanal moment this morning. And part of what came to me was, I don't know if you've read Gary Zukauf's Seed of the Soul. And in it, he talks about the energy of the soul when it's recognized, acknowledged, and valued, and how it serves you well. So all of that,
timeless material.
Yeah. And so what came to me in that moment was the soul is like a seed, and I thought about an orange tree, and the fact that before that tree bears fruit, it's a seed. Mm-hmm. And so everything that's needed for that orange tree to become an orange tree and to bear more oranges forever and ever, amen, was already in that seed. I said, that is how our soul is. That's our powerful. Soul has everything already in it before it enters into this physical form, and then we come. And so what dawned, you talk about I'm radiant, I feel like a new person as of today, because what I realized was I've done a lot of things, but all that could have blossomed through me all of these years I didn't fully allow, because I did not allow that seed to grow in the way it could have. And that's changed today, Temple.
Well,
that's changed today.
You've had an epiphany, and so you've had a what we call that aha.
Yeah.
I think it's neat to have the but it's better when you have the ha. And you have both of those together. Well, one of the things, if I may, just add to that I like a lot, that I used to teach when I still teach this to myself, but when I taught science mind classes, is that, the interesting thing about the intelligence of life is that we're kind of the only group that we are aware of that wishes we were something or someone else. And so when you're talking about that seed, that orange tree, when you, especially in Florida, and we see these trucks with oranges all over them, you don't ever hear the oranges going, we're oranges, but we wish we were lemons.
Right.
We tried to be apples,
Right.
but it didn't work. There's a vibrancy of the intelligence that they are to fulfill that. And part of our own journey and our own humanity is that we spend way too much time comparing ourselves to others. Well, God, they got to talk 15 minutes. I didn't. Look at them. They won a trophy. I didn't. Why don't I do that path? Because they look like they're having a lot more fun.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Blah,
Right.
blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Instead of the seed of being the best Sharon Brown you could ever be, or the seed of Temple Hayes, or the seed of Mary Jo, or the seed of Kim, or the other people that are tuning in with us.
Right.
It's powerful, isn't it?
And
It's
so
powerful.
this morning, after I had my epiphanal moment, I went for a walk, and on the walk, I was talking to myself, talking to God, and I said, "Wow, I had to come to Florida to really, once and for all, truly find myself." And so, when you talk about why I'm here and what brought me here, that's a story for some tea or wine or something. But what I am doing here,
wine,
or some orange juice, or some orange juice,
orange juice. Yeah.
But what am I doing here on this earth is helping people connect to who they truly are. See, here's the thing, and I may have shared this before the last time, but folks get caught up on, when it comes to their well-being, they get caught up on pills to lose weight or to get healthy, shakes, diet fads. I can go on listing. I think there are over 600 different diets. But the reality is, no matter what they try, they're going to come back to the place where they started and be frustrated with themselves again.
Okay.
And that's because they didn't connect with what the realness of who they are. You know what I mean? And so once they're able to do that, once they know who they are, why they're here, the purpose that they have come to serve, they don't want to pollute their bodies. You don't want to pollute your body. You truly, instead of grabbing for, I'm not going to name any brands, you'll grab for an apple or a date or berries or what have you. So really what my work is, and what I'm so excited about being on this planet, is helping people connect to their true selves so that they will be empowered to nurture their bodies with life-giving foods and live energized with the purpose that they've come to live, with joy and vitality. So that's why I'm on this earth, and I'm glad I'm doing that.
And you're making a mighty noise, and you're doing it well. And I just want to reiterate to all of you coming in, we're on audio through Unity Media Network, and the fortunate thing and the reason that I'm interested in doing Facebook Live is not so much that we can look at ourselves in the camera, but that it gives an opportunity for some interactiveness. In other words, if you have a question for Sharon, please put it in the comments. If you have a thought you'd like to add, we do our best at being able to see and read those. Sometimes they happen pretty quickly. But we like interacting with you, because we're not here to talk at, we're here to experience with. Let me put this pen down. It's a little man. It's got a little cute little blue hair.
And I have to say,
it looks like one of your cousins. Let me put it down on one of
Stop.
mine. It's like, this is my. We're getting off. I'm digressing. Anyhow, with that space of that, what we're talking about. When I think about growing up, and then we were introduced so much to fast foods. There were two things. Is that we developed a believability, and part of it is reality, that we would go to those drive-thrus, first of all, because the commercials telling us that if we didn't do that, we weren't cool.
Right.
And there were toys in there, so we got surprises. And then it was fast, and it was cheap.
Oh yes.
It was cheap, and I think I like to say the people who spend their lives going through the drive-through today will go through the pharmaceutical drive-through tomorrow, on down the road in their lives. So we talk about seeds. What I love about your work, it's practical, it's real, but you're also teaching people that the seeds that you're planting today, and that's the toughest thing. I know some of our listeners are very successful moms. I know some of them. Awesome. I know Mary Jo's a great mom. Awesome. Her daughter's amazing. I know Kim has amazing kids. I know, a lot of our Alona does. And that's the toughest thing I think about parenting is you do a lot right now that you don't see right now, right. But you see on down the road that they are self-actualizing type people. That's the truth for our body. Yeah. Is that we've been so programmed to get that instant gratification. It's cheap, it's fast, you can get it, you can have it right now, and you can get a little toy to give to somebody. But you're helping us see that it's the power of listening, right?
Yeah, and going back to what you just said about the fast foods, we start to form. We don't even realize what's happening. But as we're growing up on the foods, we start to form these let's call it emotional addictions, or even emotional connections. I prefer that. We start to form these emotional connections with the food that when we're older, we, besides not realizing it, we're acting unconsciously, we're reaching for certain foods because back when we were younger and I got a boo-boo or this thing happened to me, my mother would buy me this or my father would, and then that memory is so deeply buried in our psyche, we don't even make the connection that when we feel that feeling of having an adult boo-boo, whatever that may be, that we're reaching for it again. And we think, oh, I'm out of control, I can't control myself, I can't, but you can once you're able to bring awareness to what those connections are. Why do you eat, when you've had an argument with your best friend? Why do you reach for whatever it is that you might reach for whenever you're frustrated or working on a task that's not bringing you joy? There is a reason. And so that's part of what I do is I help people make that connection. And then the other thing, because once they start to make the connection, they've been eating the fast foods and the other foods so often that they're like, well, what do I eat now? Right. Well, that's the part with helping you nurture your body with life-giving foods. I help you explore new foods because there's such a plethora of things out there. There's a bounty of wonderful foods for us to eat, but we don't know it. Because we see these things in the supermarket, like, I don't know what that is, so we leave it where it is. We leave it where it is. Right. So I challenge you to explore, and then you grow. I'm impressed.
I'm just going to give a shout out to Liz and Jordan and all of that. And I and for me, I'm committed to your being on the show often because I just think that this is not a subject that we can spend enough time talking about. I think the main thing is that we don't know until we see different. Right. In other words, if you're living everyday life and then you go on a cruise, I love cruises, and put on a number of them, and we have one coming up with Unity. Oh, yeah. But anyway, the point being, so I remember the first time I went on a cruise, and I bask in that experience of everything I needed was right there in front of me, and I had people waiting on me all the time. When I first got home, it was shocking because I'm like, aren't you going to take my plate? Isn't the food already made? I didn't know what I didn't know. I really didn't, because I had never had that experience before. Right. And when people are humming along through life, and Kim, we would get to your question in a minute. When you're humming along in life and you're just going through the motions and you're eating the same things you were raised with or you were brought up with, and you're saying, to me it doesn't make any difference. No, dairy doesn't affect me at all. No, wheat, never had a problem with it. No, I don't really understand. It's because your body has never had a break from it. It's because, like me and the cruise, you've never seen anything different. Right. And so what is so crucial with your teaching is people that are willing to do something,
Yeah.
or more importantly, to do without something
Right.
for 30 days, and just pick one thing. Just
thing.
pick one thing that, let's say, for a month you have very few carbs.
Right.
Well, I'm going to tell you what's happening. What's going to happen to you. I'm going to show you. So you haven't had carbs for 30 days, and all of a sudden you have those black bean chips.
Ooh.
Oh, or you have that piece of bread, and it is so good. You won't just have one piece. You're going to have several, and then here's what you're going to look like. That's what you're going to look like. Because you will crash. You will crash.
Yeah.
And dairy.
Or you'll look in the mirror and you think you're 6 months pregnant because you're bloated.
Are you bloated?
Oh my God.
That's another part of it. You're bloated. After you were on the show before, this is kind of a testimony.
Oh, okay.
Because I really, you kind of planted some seeds with me, and what I did is I went through a major detox of like working with an herbologist in Miami.
Loves little hearts.
Her name
little
is Bernie Myers. If anybody wants to know, I'll be glad to share you the information. But she did a consultation. She's a practitioner out of Miami, herbologist, grew up in Jamaica, just a brilliant, no, in Jamaica, Caribbean. Anyway, she's a brilliant woman. And so I took, according to my own body, I went through a major detox. And then what I did is I incorporated things back in, only live stuff.
Nice.
Okay. Now, if any of you listening today had told me that there would come a time that I would eat like I do now, I would go, no, I like warm food. I like a salad every day, but, I also like cooked meals and cooked food. And after I did this program with her, because remember, I was living in what I didn't know, and I started bringing live food in. When I would eat...
This was after
this
I was on the last time? Wow.
And I went through this big detox. It was in November.
Oh, nice.
And then I started realizing how I felt. Like I had eaten cardboard.
Yeah.
When I would eat just a fully cooked meal. But see, nobody could have told me that because I enjoyed eating what I was eating. But now I follow Bernie Myers' method. I follow Sharon Brown's method of 80% live and 20% cooked. It is so different. Isn't it?
You feel different.
I mean,
you
feel
more
different.
alive, more awake, more energized. Yeah, it's like you need less sleep. I'm not saying sleep less, but you feel that way. Yeah, there really is a difference.
So these are the things, for all of you to consider. Not defend where you are, but realize you may defending what you don't know. And that it will transcend and transform you, because I can tell, and if I do have a cooked meal, within just a few minutes, it's like, no, I got to have some fruit. I need something that has life in it.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool.
And don't you find sometimes, so for instance, last week, I think it was, I was upset and I was dealing with something. And my body was just craving a mango. And I just had to give thanks that while being upset, I didn't say I want some cookies or I want some pizza. I said, I want a mango.
Yeah.
Right? So there's something to the sweetness that my body wanted to help soothe my mind. There's a soothing quality about the right type of mango. And that's what my body wanted. And so
absolutely,
to your point, once you begin to, you said a big word, willing. Once you are willing to embrace that, maybe there's more you don't know, and you're willing to try something else, and you allow yourself to try that something else, and then you're exposed and then you grow in it, your body will begin to transform. Likewise, your mind, because your mind is also responding to that food. Yep. And you'll find that I still have cravings, but they're cravings I like. Like, I crave coconut chunks or mangoes or tangy. That's where my cravings are. So, to your point,
That's beautiful. And again, we're asking for questions.
You said Kim had a question?
And somebody's saying, Liz is saying, I love the 80-20 ratio.
Yep.
And I would have never believed that. Because I just, again, I loved omelets and, vegetarian.
Wait, I got an extra question.
I love rice and beans.
So when I sat here and said it, you thought she telling me the truth right now?
Well, I don't know. I don't, like all of the people that tune into the radio, I don't know that we immediately have a, wow, I'm going to run home and try that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there's seeds planted.
Okay.
And then situations present themselves that then we can move forward, and we can do it. But it's been life altering for me.
Awesome.
And I think you're measurable. For those of you that are tuning in, is, do you have the energy that you know you're capable of? Because energy isn't known by its age group. I'm going to say that again.
Okay.
Energy isn't known by an age group. Now, and how do I know that that's true is because there's too many, us living in Florida, there's too many 80 and 90 and 100-year-old people here living in a thriving way. And I think that we're duped and trained and programmed in our society. Well, you're getting older. Well, what do you expect? You'll soon be 60 or you'll soon be 80. No. It has so much to... there's some wisdom. Whether someone wants to be into religiosity or not, there's a big honking deal about in Scripture that your body is the temple of the living God. Because it says living God. It doesn't say tired, doesn't say fatigue, exhausted.
Right.
That kind of thing.
I never thought
It's
of it
just saying that it's a living vibration of God, and how is it living? I've never thought of it that way either, but you bring that out of me. You asked me what the question was that Kim had.
Yeah.
And that I wanted to fit it in because I want to stay with your lesson. I'm talking more today, but I want to make sure you have plenty of time.
Okay.
But that said, what I noticed too when I started eating mostly live food is I stopped hurting and aching. The knee thing and the thing and the thing. That I had. I don't have that anymore. And so what Kim was asking is, and you're the expert on our show, what do you feel about the oils, is it CBD or CC? It's the hemp oil.
The hemp oils. I tell you what, I haven't had much experience with hemp oils. I have had experience with essential oils.
Okay.
And so if Kim wants a deeper answer, she can connect with me and I'll definitely get her the answer. But what I'll do is I'll take what I know about essential oils and then just leap over
And Kim, I hope I pronounced that correctly. I know what you're talking about because my wife uses it and she really likes it. She feels there's value there. And I know it's kind of, I will just speak for me.
Okay.
It's the new thing to me, sweeping the country now, that it is the new answer. And all I can say is the people that I know that are using it are very happy with it and are continuing to.
And I've heard, and I haven't had to work with anyone who's used it, but with essential oils I have. And the thing, if you just think from a general standpoint, when you talked about the body being a living temple, and then you talked about when I mentioned increasing our intake of live foods, there's a similarity right there. Living live. When we're feeding our body, I think I wrote an article on this. When we're feeding our bodies dead food, we're bringing down our frequency.
Right.
We're bringing down our waves.
Yeah.
We're lowering our energy. When you feed your body live things, you're raising your vibration, your frequency, your energy, and so of course, nothing more can happen than you feel better. And so when that's the absolute case when it comes to essential oils, and I would imagine that has to be the case when it comes to the hemp oils as well, because they're coming from a live substance. Yeah, to integrate with your body. So,
well, I saw a woman on Sunday, and she had. I said to her, "Are you losing weight or am I getting bigger?" Because you really look like you really just. And she said, "Oh, I've lost weight," which I appreciated that she said that. But she said, "Yeah, I've lost quite a bit of weight." And I said, "Any secrets or what are you doing?" And she said, "Through essential oils."
Good for her.
Through essential oils. And I was like, well, we want to talk because, I'd like to know more about what you're doing. So give us another point. We even have one of my high school friends on.
Oh, what are they saying?
His name is Ray. He's not saying anything, but he's watching. So, give us another nugget. You're putting them out there today.
Another nugget.
Another Sharon Brown nugget.
You know, I whatever I'm doing, I like to share with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm reading, I don't even know if it's I think it used to be a book, but it's definitely online. It's called The 10 Scrolls. Have you heard of The 10 Scrolls?
The 10 Scrolls.
Right, and so you're supposed to read each scroll once a month, 3 times a day. I am not there yet where I'm reading it 3 times a day. Did I say once a month? I meant once every day.
Okay,
every day. 3 times a month. Can I get my words out?
Every
day, 3 times a day. This is what I'm saying. 10 scrolls. And so the first one has to do with, and I'm still reading it. It's talking about showing up with love every day. I greet this day with love. And so you read the 3 pages that go with the day.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I read, I said, yes, this is what I'm saying all of the time, is that when you love yourself, now I might rub somebody the wrong way. It is not my intention.
Not on our show. No.
But when you love yourself and you understand who you are, you do not want to corrupt your body.
That's big.
I just read that line and just said, yes.
That's big. Yeah.
And so I even wrote something recently about what does it really mean to love, right? Because we have all these answers. Oh, it's this feeling that you can't explain. If you can't explain it, then is it love? But that's another story.
Right.
We can talk about it another day. But love is more about caring for the evolution and the well-being and the growth of the other person, including yourself. If you're loving yourself, so if you're caring about your own growth and your own well-being and your own evolution, then you're caring about what you're putting in your body. Mm-hmm. And so
that's very true.
Yeah, there you have it. So
it's very true.
I would challenge you to ask yourself, do I really love myself the way I think I love myself?
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I eat and the way that I treat my body and the stress that I allow in, is that demonstrating that I love myself? Mm-hmm. I would challenge you to ask yourself that question.
You know, I'm just kind of getting and scanning. To me, it's like when we think about, I'm getting like 80% of energy-related issues with our body is all about the food. Mm-hmm. And I think that now in the self-help age, and it's okay, people say they're going to therapy or they're working with a counselor and all that's wonderful. But, you know, there's more to what's eating you. It's what you're eating. Mm-hmm. And it's definitely, we come back to that same word, willingness. Yeah. Because we change. You know, through the years we change, and trustingly and knowingly we get wiser, and we have less stress, and so our vibration in our body changes, and our body will not maintain those same mashed potatoes with gravy and those same fried things that and that's another one. You know, once you don't do fried foods and then you do, then you see it.
Yeah.
You right? And you feel that of it does.
And I think there has to be willingness again, right? So and I'm bringing in another word, awareness. So there has to be a willingness to become aware that that's what's happening, right? Because if you've been eating that fried chicken for the last 20, 30, 40 years, once it starts to show up as however it shows up in your body, there's so many ways. You may not want to think it's that, because you're thinking, well, I've eaten this fried chicken now for the last 20 years and nothing's been happening all this time. Well, what's been happening all this time is your body was saying, I'm fighting this thing, I'm fighting it, right? And then after a while, your body's like, okay, you know what? I give up. I'm tired. Yeah. You want to give this to me? Then I'm tired. I'm just going to let whatever is supposed to happen with all this clogged up stuff you want to give me. And so that's when you start to see the differences, and then you think what you said earlier, you think it's because of your age, because they tell you that around 40 you're going to feel your knees doing things, around 50 you're going to feel something else, around 60 you're going to feel, but what's the reason why they can norm these feelings is because everybody just keeps eating the way they've been eating for the last 20, 30 years. And so after a while, everybody's body starts to give up. Mm-hmm. And then they all start to feel the same thing. And then it's just easy to say, it's because you're 45. It's because you're 50. That's but no, true. It's because your body said, I am done with you. You want to keep doing this. I'm going to let you down because you let me down.
That's so That's so true. Yeah. The body basically says, "Look, I'm going to get your attention, and we can do it easy, or we can do it the hard way." I really feel that.
Yeah. It's absolutely true.
That our body aching is our innate ability for us to know that there's a reason that we are in pain.
Yeah.
Now, when you were on the show before and everybody's going, have Sharon back, have Sharon back.
Thank you.
And by the way, ask the questions, bring it on, she's here. When that was all going on, etc. You had a book. Do you have a website, or how can they?
Yes.
How can we? I didn't put that into the content. But
Okay.
What's our website?
Okay. So, and we can post it afterwards, but it's www. Sweet. Yes. Eden, as in the Garden of Eden.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Sweet Eden.
Yeah.
I remember now.
By Sharon, SHERON.com.
Okay.
And so when you get there, I'll be offering it's a 10-day free e-coaching. But the point is, if you enter your name and all of that, yes, you'll get the 10 days of free coaching, but you also continue to receive information from it. Something else. Why do I forget these things? So in addition to the book, I don't know. I've taken what I've been doing with my clients, and I'm in the process of packaging up and finalizing it right now. It's in a program called the Enlightened Eaters Roadmap.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The Enlightened Eaters Roadmap.
And it's
That's powerful.
all about what we're talking about today. And the whole process is about getting you to connect to what's going on inside, what's going on with why you crave what you crave, and helping you understand what that is connected to, so that that awareness can help you to release it. So, once you sign up on the site, like when that's all ready to be released in the spring, then you'll be aware, because I'll share that with you. So that's something that's going on right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're going to put it on Facebook Live, put it where to go, so they can stay in touch with you. We want that very much. And we have one of our guests today that's talking about that she's truly discovered, Kim, that so much of disease is due to inflammation. And when we look at inflammation,
Inflamed.
and that whole part of being inflamed, we go back to living in a temple of the living God that isn't being acknowledged or honored. And there's a part of us that it's like one of my friends used to say. She lived to be like 92.
Wow.
She said, we might know better, but we don't really know better unless we're doing better. Said, unless knowing better makes doing better, then it's a great idea. But I agree with you, Kim, that a lot of pain, a lot of joint, a lot of ache, a lot of hurt, a lot of stuff comes from inflamed, unresolved anger elements or grief, and then the other elements is that then you put on that of the food.
Yeah.
I keep looking up because I'm reading this.
I'm impressed that you can
Cost
read that.
is an issue. Mary Jo, you're exactly right. Cost is an issue for certain individuals, but
Say more. What did she
cost
say?
is an issue for people to eat healthier. And once you're into this groove, it takes less. It takes less to sustain you. You need less to occupy you. And what I find is it looks like a lot of money up front. It lasts so much longer than if you divide it per meal. And plus you release that you have to have any pharmaceuticals and the expense
How about
of
that?
that.
Here's the other thing. I want to add to that, though.
You better. You should. You're here.
Yeah, so that, who'd you say said that? Mary Jo said that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so Mary Jo, that's something that I've heard often. As a matter of fact, I used to say that myself.
I did too, yeah.
And what I have come to find out is, it really isn't. Like, sometimes I come home and I lay out all the produce that I've purchased, and then I sit back and I say, I only paid $23 for all of this food.
Right. Uh-huh.
The difference is I didn't have chips and juice and soda and all the other things that I used to purchase. And I realized, no, my money, all the money that went to that stuff is now going to food, and I still have more left. So
Okay.
so I understand, and I definitely empathize with that sentiment, because I had it myself. But actually living the experience, I now recognize that's not necessarily true. Now, let me be clear. There are some things that are pricey, right? You get some chia seeds or something. You could pay $8.99 for a bag of chia seeds, but then they last for so long.
Yeah.
And you just add a little teaspoon to a smoothie or what have you. That bag can last you for a month, and you spend $8.99 on it. You know, so I do understand that when you're in the store and you look at the sticker, some of the things immediately like, what? Look at that price.
Yeah.
But the amount of time it lasts, as you said, it's not the same as if you bought a bag of chips that you're going to replace next week.
No, it's not the same. And I think the other thing is, you know, we reassess what our priorities are.
Yeah.
And to live a vibrant life and not need to always have to have extra care and extra help and pay extra for our physical being to be comfortable.
Right.
I mean, that goes a long way, but for me it's having a consciousness, or the word you would say is awareness, that it matters that much about what I have, and therefore because it matters that much, I always have enough that I'm able to, you know, have that or to experience that. And, you know, one of the things that people gravitate now to is the local farmer market. So
Oh, yes.
Liz made that comment, and thank you for that, because it's so true.
Yeah.
What you can get at a flea market or a local farmer's market or a side of the road market,
Yeah, I like those.
they're very affordable.
They are.
Yeah, and they're
very much so.
and very good quality of food.
Very much so. And I just wanted to go back to what you said about the pains, because I think I mentioned this the last time I was on.
Yeah.
I did. I remember telling the story. In my 30s, I was experiencing joint pains, and I was wondering, why is this happening?
Yeah, 30, yeah.
Yeah. And what I realized over time is I wasn't taking care of my body. Part of it had to do with the food, and part of it just had to do with taking care of this temple just physically. And so once I added yoga into my life, along with the food, like that knee pain issue went away. And that was when I really started realizing, wow, what we eat really does matter. It really does matter.
It does. And, you know, one of the areas is this idea of sugar. And sugar is another thing that programs us and trains us to be quick, instant gratificators. That's not a word, but...
Epiphanal. Let's go with it. Let's go with it.
That's what it creates within us. And I never thought I would live a life without sugar. I did know that when I was a wine drinker, and I've been sober 30 years now,
Nice.
I do know that prior to stopping drinking, when people say, you want something sweet? And I go, I don't really care for sweets. Well, of course, because I was drinking, 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and need we go on. Glasses of wine, which is totally sugar. But that's something that when you're looking at the C's in your life, like cancer and consciousness. Yeah.
And you hear folks say, don't eat anything with sugar. You hear people take it as far as, don't eat fruit. You want to be careful of the fruit because the fruit has too much sugar and you'll gain weight. And let me tell you, I've lost a lot of weight ODing, if you will, on fruit, because the sugar in fruit is not the same as the sugar in processed foods. Not just that, it's processed differently with your body, because once you have that sugar in the fruit, there's that fiber that's slowing down that process and allowing, because your sugar breaks up into 2 categories, and allowing it to for you to grab the energy that you need while dispelling the rest that would be weight gains, that would contribute to weight gain. So that whole idea of, I don't even know how I got on sugar and fruit, but that whole idea of eating too much fruit because you should be careful of the sugar, that thing.
We're talking processed sugar.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between processed sugar
but there are folks who
and
lump
natural.
They lump it all together.
And our society has done the same thing with salt. Oh, don't eat salt. You can't eat. Yeah, that's iodized salt.
Right.
But Himalayan natural salt, we all need it. We need that vibration in us. Okay, Marna is asking, where are the BOGO deals on healthy food?
Buy one, get one.
Buy one, get one. Well, you can order a lot of things on Amazon now.
You can.
And you can get some really good discounts.
You can.
Vita Cost is another venue that I use, or Purium is another one.
I'll say this too. Every now and then I go in to see, let me see what Walmart is talking about. Let me see. And every now and then I'll find something. I might get quinoa from there on a sale price. So there is, and this only works if you live right here in this area.
Right.
But there is a little store. It's called VGP, and it's off 38th.
Okay.
Right under Pinellas Trail. Oh my God, they have the best prices and the most. Here's another word that doesn't exist. Beautifulest. The most beautifulest produce. I love getting my tomatoes from them. So the point I'm making though, even if you don't live in this area, and I always trip over the letters, VGP, is
they're
not
out there.
They're out there. Even if you're not here, they're out there. It's just a matter of talking to people, looking for them online. They are there. And particularly this time of the year, moving into the spring, there are, what do you call those things? Open air markets.
Everywhere.
Farmers markets.
Kiosks,
so
all those
they're
things.
out there.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And so that's I think the measurable is that you kind of do a inventory check, if you will, right, on your body, and say, do I feel every day vibrant? Am I going through the day still with a lot of energy? Do I end at night as innately understood of just, okay, now it's time to rest? But how am I throughout the day? Am I thriving? Because we're designed to thrive.
We're designed to thrive.
You don't see any tired birds hanging on the limb just having to take a nap because they just can't, fly anymore. And I mean, that's part of it, right? Is nature is our best teacher. And we've gotten away from, I'm not saying that those were the better days. We are where we are. But in the old days, people would go out, they had to plant things, they picked it, they harvested it, they created it for themselves. Yeah. They knew what it was, they knew what they were putting in. Yeah. That's not I wrote a minister a letter. She got ordained, and I really wanted to go, but I wrote her a letter, and I said, don't be a leader that lives in a box, and don't teach a box reality. Always be open, always be flexible. And so I went on about that, and people joke with me and say, don't even have boxes in your hall. Don't have boxes. But I said, and for goodness sakes, don't eat food out of a box. It's just, it doesn't have anything in it. It absolutely doesn't have anything in it. Don't eat food out of a box. So I think what Sharon and I are saying is you develop your own style, your own rhythm, and you go at this of what your yeses are going to be, not what your nos are. In other words, it's like, I remember that too. A friend of mine many years ago, she's like 72 now. She looks 50-something.
Nice. She
can run circles around most people. But I remember the first time I went in her refrigerator and I went, what is this stuff? And then I would want to shop like her, and I went, this stuff is expensive. I would never think about that now.
Right.
Because it's just, it's a priority.
It is.
For how you feel, right?
Yeah, and to touch on something else, you mentioned my book, The Wellness Purpose Connection.
Yep, that was great.
Thank you. And the other part of my work, it has to do with, because you mentioned having the energy and the vitality. One of the things I've also found is we, some of us, eat the way we do when we're not nurturing our bodies with life-giving foods, because we're not fully living out. We are coming back to the beginning of this radio.
We're landing the plane.
We are not fully living out our purpose. Like, there are things inside of us, that seed, getting back to that orange seed, that have been placed in our soul before our soul entered into our bodies that we are suppressing. We're not allowing ourselves to blossom. And so what's happening? We're stuffing it down, and it's eating us. I'm using your thing now, right?
There you go. Yep, it's eating us.
It's eating us. And so that's also a part of the work. You know, when people ask me, what do? I say I'm a health coach. I never feel comfortable saying I'm a health coach because that's in a box, and it doesn't feel like enough to say what I do, right? You're connecting to your true self. You're discovering who you are and how you're supposed to show up in the world. Right. And then once you're getting excited about that, you're learning about how to better take care of your body with food and rest and what have you. And then you are living with that energy and that vitality. And so, you know, it's just, if you could give me a title for that, I call it spiritual nutrition coaching. I don't know what else to call it.
I think it's perfect. Spiritual nutrition coaching. I think it's spot on. And I'm just really grateful that you came to this awareness because I know the tens of thousands of people that you help and will continue to help on this journey. So as we're getting ready to our last final moments here, we still have a few more minutes.
Okay.
Does anybody have a question? I would ask that with our listeners today. If you have a question, please type it in. We'll relative to the subject, if you'd like. And also, what's really on your heart as far as if there's another key point or so that you would like to make.
After this entire conversation today, you know, I've been to sessions and I've listened to YouTube videos or what have you where you walk away and you think that was good. That was good, and it goes back to your friend. It's great that it was good, but if you're not doing anything with the information, then how good was it really? And so as we, you know, wrap up today and we walk away from our time together, I can't believe the time is almost over. I would ask you to just do one thing differently.
Just too funny.
Just one. Maybe it's for you, it's eating an apple. Or if you don't eat fruit regularly, just try a piece of fruit every day. Or if you drink coffee and juice all day and then you end the day with wine, like, change one thing. Like that one time you're drinking, drink one glass of water. I'm just asking you to just try one thing.
Yeah, that's
and
too funny.
It's from there you grow.
That was too funny. I was just thinking that whole thing. Just do one thing.
Just do one thing.
You know, or give up all the whites for 30 days. Just say no whites, which means no sugar, no flour, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Please elaborate on the enlightened eaters. That's right. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do another segment on that, and because Sharon is just a regular person on our show, because this is so important. I mean, we're living in a time of a lot of obesity and lack of awareness when it comes to taking care of ourselves, and so she'll definitely be back, and we'll have her on and we'll have her talking about that. But she's going to go back and put in her the information in, so you can go to her website and learn more, pertinent to her. But yeah, just do the one thing and do it for 30 days, and then see how different you feel when you go back to do it again. You'll have a different relationship with it.
You absolutely will.
Yeah, kind of like an ex-boyfriend or a girlfriend. Ooh. It would be different, but we won't go there because we're gonna stick with our topic today. We're just so thrilled for all of you and thankful that you care enough to be part of our show. And if you like what you're hearing today and you're new to this format, please join me on templehays.com and also firstunity.org. Love to see more of you and love to have you on board. And we'll get Sharon back very, very soon. Bless you on this amazing journey that we call life. Thank you.
Thank you.